So this is the last session of the webinar series. We started with some general lessons learned and some best practices. Then we got to know many PROs around the globe, learned about their best practices, and just learned how each PRO handles their individual tasks. And I think, we learned a lot. You can find all the recordings of the 6 past sessions on our YouTube channel. But the idea of this webinar series is also to establish a network and see what needs of PROs and future PROs might still be unaddressed. And today we will hear which PRO alliances and networks exist already, and we will have also some time to discuss what could be the next steps in the future. So I'm really glad to present our speakers of today, and if you could go to the next slide, perfect, thank you. So Dorothee, my colleague, she's advisor at GIZ, and she will start with the presentation of an open source EPR registration tool, a very useful tool for all PROs that are currently starting their work. Then I'm very happy to welcome also Emmanuelle Bautista. She's the Director for European and International Affairs at Citeo, which is the French PRO for packaging and graphic paper. And Emmanuelle will present the Producer Responsibility Coalition. So warm welcome to you, and also warm welcome to you, Joachim. Joachim Quoden is the Managing Director of the Extended Producer Responsibility Alliance, or in short, EXPRA, and you will present this alliance to us. So very much looking forward to today's session. Like I said in the beginning, we will have also some time to discuss with all of you participants if there are needs that you think should be considered in the future by the GAP4EPR, for example, or by other networks. And so let's get started, and I'm happy to give you the floor, Dorothee.
Thank you very much, Angelina. Warm welcome from my side as well to this last webinar in our series. I have the pleasure to present an open source EPR registration system. Next slide, please. So if you are a PRO or you're intend to become one, there's the question, why an EPR registration system? It's because data is essential. It helps you to implement and also evaluate your EPR system. It helps you to be transparent regarding which companies participate to the system. It's a prevention of free riders. And also PROs receive up-to-date information about the amount of packaging material which is entering your market, and also up-to-date information about the money which is coming in, the expected fees with which you can work in your EPR system. Next slide. This is what our EPR registration system covers. It's a communication between the companies, in this case producers, fillers, and importers, and the PRO. There is the data reporting via the system going to the PRO, and then information about fees and invoices, and probably also about new regulations. It's going back to the companies. And then there's the cash flow. However, this is not covered by the system. This should be via a separate billing system. Next slide. This open source digital EPR registration system was developed for the EPR system in Jordan together with the Jordanian stakeholders. It's an user-friendly registration. It's a user-friendly registration and data upload. It's an open source tool, which means it can and most likely has to be customized to the processes of your EPR system. But this can be done. you would need probably an IT company to help you there. However, you have the rights to do this because it's under the MIT hosting license, which is a very broad one where you basically can do everything with this code. It can be hosted and a server or cloud-based. The programming language is Python based on Django admins. Further questions, I immediately refer to our programming agency. And you can have multiple languages in the version right now. This version includes English and Arabic, but according to your needs, you can adjust this. Next slide. All data in this system is stored on a secure platform, and it's a source of reporting for you as a PRO. You can have, there are various packaging groups and materials that can be set in the back end. So there you don't need an IT specialist. You can do this easily in the back end. And also the fee prices can easily be changed and entered in the system. We do have demo videos. I'm not going to show right now. You can find them in the links, and also the last link here is on the GAP for EPR website, and you'll find all the information there as well. Next slide. And you can register to the demo version here. And I would like to show what you will see if you register there. So this is the front end. This is what you see when you enter as a company. You have your dashboard. Here you can change your account settings. And here you can see all the reports you handed in. You can filter them by year, and you always, as a company, you're also up to date what you have paid into the system. And then let's have a look into the back end. This is what the PRO is working with. You have all the data reports here, and you can filter them. So this helps you to do your reporting. And then let's have a short look into the packaging material. Here we have packaging groups. This is one way to put them. If it would be the Philippine EPR system, for example, you would have here flexible plastic, rigid packets, plastic bags, and polystyrene. These are the groups. And then there are the materials. And you always can add and delete them, whatever is in your system. And here you can set the prices for a certain time limit, and you can change them. And the system, of course, will automatically calculate the right price for the right period. So this was very brief, our EPR registration system. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact me. And as soon as it gets technical, we have our IT company on our side for further advice. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks so much, Dorothee. Very precise. We have time for one or two questions to Dorothee. There's one in the chat. You can either use the chat or raise your digital hand as you wish. Is this a tool more for helping PROs or helping producers reaching PROs internationally?
Oh, that's clearly a tool for PROs to organize the companies which are obliged to the system and organize basically the fee and registration communication.
So it's used on like national level and not international level,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, definitely.
But this it could be. Sorry.
Yeah, this is so far it's adapted to the Jordanian EPR system, but everyone who is interested can take it over and adapt it to their needs and system.
Perfect, thank you. Hope this clarifies your question, Maria. Any other questions, any thoughts, any needs? Otherwise, Dorothee is here in the call. If another question comes up at a later stage, you can also write in the chat and she will answer there. Great, thanks so much, Dorothee. Then I'm happy to give the floor now to Emmanuelle for the presentation of the Producer Responsibility Coalition. Welcome.
Yes, good afternoon to all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I will introduce to you the Producer Responsibility Organization. This Producer Responsibility Coalition is an international coalition of 50 PROs worldwide, so at European and international level. So Citeo, so the French PRO for household packaging and graphic papers, has created in November 2022 this coalition in the context of the current negotiation of the international legally binding treaty on plastic pollution. So these negotiations are conducted by the United Nations Environment Programme, and the last round of negotiation, I'm sure you have heard about it, took place so at the end of last month. And so why we have decided to launch this coalition? It was so to advocate for an ambitious and adequate inclusion of EPR in the future treaty, and also to add the voice of PRO, because for this negotiation there is, as usual for international negotiation, a lot of stakeholders, of observers, a lot of people talking about the different topics, issues on this negotiation, also talking on EPR, but sometimes not with a practical view, and only from a conceptual point of view. And we thought that PRO could have a relevant role and could contribute to the explanation and the advocacy of EPR at international level and for this negotiation. So we have currently in the coalition 50 PROs, so from Europe, India, Canada, South Africa, Kenya, Australia, Chile, Nigeria, Kenya, and meaning this is so very important because it means that EPR is not only a relevant tool for developed countries or for European countries, but it's a tool for all countries, which could be which could adapt and which could work accordingly to the different national context, which can adapt to the different context and constraints, because sometimes it's a criticism toward EPR that this is only a model for developed countries. So this is important that we have so different members in the coalition showing the various national context. So what do we do concretely? So first of all, we have, of course, so internal exchanges, so among us on best practices, so national cases, so different positions, so point of view. So we prepare the different rounds of negotiation with so pre-briefing. We share information. We have also elaborate and publish different position paper. I will come to it in a minute. And we also meet with the different key stakeholders, so official negotiation teams, observers, NGO during this different round of negotiation, so to explain and to promote EPR in the effective and relevant way. So our action So has begun from the first INC round, which took place in November 2022 in Uruguay, and it was the occasion to have the first position paper of the coalition. So on EPR, we have then extended this position paper for the INC2, which took place in Paris in 2023, with a more detailed position and also with a legal approach. So regarding how EPR could be concretely integrated in the legal architecture of the treaty, and also what are the different level of state control, the different economic opportunities, what is also the role of the informal sector. This is an important issue for developing countries. And this was also the occasion to have the first intervention and dedicating events, so led by Citeo on behalf of the coalition. So we have continued our action in Nairobi for INC3, and then in Ottawa for INC4. So what we have seen in Nairobi during INC3, that it was still a lot of confusion and misunderstanding regarding EPR. So what is EPR? What is not? Is it a tax, part of a national budget, and so on? The adaptation and feasibility for developing countries. And so we have really tried to focus. To focus on our exchanges with the different stakeholders to really explain EPR in a very informative and pedagogic way. From the beginning, even on I don't know, an organizational point, organizational element could be so quite easy and automatic for us, but this is not the case for everyone. We have also the occasion to meet local EPR and waste management stakeholders. So for example, the KEPRO, the PRO in Kenya, and also some initiative as Mr. Green Africa. So trying to embark waste speakers. And based on this experience during Nairobi, and this still misunderstanding and false information regarding EPR, we have decided within the coalition to prepare a new position paper, so third position paper for INC4 in Ottawa, but then a more, concrete and operational paper, so a shorter one, so based on the questions we have received during our discussion in Nairobi. So this new position paper is divided into two parts. The first one is dealing with the main EPR principles. So it's not exhaustive, but the idea was really to concentrate on the main EPR principles. So regarding definition, government control, financing, accountability, and traceability. We have also, in a second part, which is quite interesting, examples of members of the coalition regarding EPR implementation and PRO's activities and results. And again, showing the relevance of EPR in different national contexts and the capacity to adapt, to evolve with the time, and also taking into account the different national constraints, needs, and evolution. It was also the occasion before this INC4 to extend our coalition to more than 10 PROs, and namely PROs from Canada, Chile, Peru, Kenya, and other countries. So this is very helpful and very interesting then for us to have this perspective from an international point of view, and not only the European one we had from the beginning. And it was also the occasion in Ottawa to contribute with this new position paper, so to present this new position paper and to insist on our advocacy work on EPR. So of course we were present in Busan, in South Korea for INC 5, which took place from the 25th November until the 1st of December, so only a few days ago. So it was supposed to be the last negotiation round, but unfortunately parties didn't manage to agree. Parties unfortunately didn't manage to agree. To conclude the negotiations. The divergences are very important. So between ambitious countries and like-minded coalition led by Russia, India, and the different oil producers country. Yes, and so let's see how it will be possible to conclude this negotiation. Maybe next year. INC 5.2 is already in mind, but we don't know when and where it will be. So regarding EPR, so we have again continue our work to explain, to discuss with the different stakeholders, so states, observers, and NGOs, and so now after this round of negotiation, we have a new chairs non-paper which will be the base of the further discussions, and EPR is mentioned in two articles, in the article on the waste management and in the article on financing. So I will not go into details, so just for you to have it in mind. But then it's of course a question, so how it will remain in the forthcoming discussion, because we have this new non-paper, but everything is now put into brackets, meaning so everything could be again open, modified, or delayed. So let's see what we will have regarding EPR at the end. And so if we make a short summary of what we have done, is first of all, so to try to respond to a gap, to the lack of knowledge, and also to respond to the confusion about EPR by presenting the diversity of its activities and contribution, to align 50 PROs worldwide on common position, and to create a platform for exchanges, so on best practices, on issues, on challenging, sharing information. So we have conducted different strategic meetings with negotiators and observers, and we have done also it, in relation with all other stakeholders, for example, OECD, so the Prevent Waste Alliance, so World Economic Forum, or UNEP. Until now, with the exception of INC4, where our counterpart from Quebec were present, we are sometimes the only PRO of the coalition present in this negotiation, but we are always, talking and acting on behalf of the coalition. And it's following the feedback we receive from the different delegation and stakeholders we met, they are quite interesting in the fact that, first of all, this type of coalition exists, and what we are advocating for EPR, and what concrete examples we can share on EPR. So this idea to have concrete, pragmatic, so feasible examples is very important for negotiators. So of course now, so what could be the next steps for our work, for our coalition? So first of all, in the perspective of this INC 5.2 and maybe 6 or 7, we don't know. It was to reflect on how we can strategically adapt to the current blockage of the negotiation. So how we could contribute to continue to explain things, to take a walk. Then, if we have a treaty, in a way or another, it will be also the question for the coalition to take a role regarding the implementation of the treaty. And we know that EPR will certainly and definitely play an important role. And we think that as a coalition of a PRO, we will have an important role to play. And also this is a question. So after this experience at UNEP level, how about to develop our strategy and our coalition, and to have a position on new subjects in new forums. So, for example, WTO is talking about plastic pollution with the dialogue on plastic, and also to be open to new members. So if you would like some more information, if you would like to discuss further on this, so don't hesitate to reach out to me. You have here the QR code for our last position paper on EPR, and so happy to discuss further about the work and the possibilities of membership, of joint work if you are interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emmanuelle, for this great presentation, and congrats already. Someone is also clapping from the audience. I think really a lot of work has been done in the past 2-3 years, so congrats to that. And thank you also for sharing the paper here, the recent paper. Isabella kindly also shared a link in the chat. Thank you for that. And I think your outlook, topics to consider, open to new subjects, but also to new members, I think is a warm invitation also to maybe the PROs present in this call that maybe are not yet member of this coalition, if this is of interest. So thanks to you, Emmanuelle, for this presentation. We have time for 1 or 2 short questions, if there are any from the audience. Questions, comments, interest to engage. I'm definitely happy to see that the coalition also plans to support in the implementation of the treaty once it's finalized, because this will be another bulk of work, I would say.
Yes, for sure. Maybe the most important one. And maybe the most interesting one, because it will be so more concrete on the ground.
Indeed. Isabella, you have your hand up, please.
Yes, thank you. So I actually don't. Hello, Bautista. Thank you so much. It was super interesting and very exciting to hear all this good news. And yeah, I'm just raising my hand. I don't have a question, but I thought I'd just reach out. I will reach out via email as well. Thanks for sharing your contact information. I'm currently working for the German deposit system based in Berlin, and I would be interested to know your perspective on EPR regarding DRS, and how this can also support the circular economy in a certain way for this main waste stream of beverage containers. Yeah.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Thank
you so much for your question.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so it's maybe it's not really so linked to the coalition or ANC negotiations, because they are not in such a detailed manner during the negotiation. But yes, we know, of course. I mean, the DRS, it's an important tool to improve waste management, and also to achieve the different legislative targets. We know it, for example, in France. So we don't have a DRS for the moment, but we have conducted an analysis, and we know that with DRS system, we will be able to improve our results by 10%. So it's very significant, and we know that at European level, so states who have a DRS system have the best results regarding recycling. So we know it's a very relevant and efficient tool. So now we will have at European level the packaging and packaging waste regulation, with the obligation to have this DRS by 2029 if we don't manage to achieve collection targets of 90%. So it will come, I mean, at the latest by 2029. But it's an important topic for us, and also having in mind, so DRS for recycling, but we are also advocated DRS for reuse. And in France, we will, Citeo will launch reuse at scale by next year in 4 French regions, and we will put a DRS for reuse in place in this region to contribute to the development of reuse.
That's amazing.
But happy to discuss further bilaterally if you are interested. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much for answering this question, and great, Isabella, that you took the chance to network here right away. That's also the idea and the spirit of this call. Great. I see no more questions. Thanks, Baptiste, for posting the QR code and the link in the chat to the resources. Again, thank you so much, Emmanuelle, for the presentation. And happy to move to our third and last speaker of today. Welcome again, Joachim Quoden, and over to you for the presentation of EXPRA.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And first, a big thanks to Baptiste and Emmanuelle for all their work for the plastic treaty. I think you would have deserved a positive outcome with all the efforts. So I'm optimistic for the next weeks and months, because especially whatever they decide on the start of the journey, I think for the end of life there should be some consensus, because in whichever country we have to manage what we consume. So I really hope that this is common sense and we will be able to end up with something positive. EXPRA itself, so thanks a lot. We are a more classical association, registered, financed by membership fees. In the meantime, we have 34 members and partners, with the specific, I would say that our members are owned by the obligated industry and are all run on a non-for-profit basis. So that's our specific, that's our membership criterion as well, so that we would not be able to welcome all PROs from the world, but there are always ways to cooperate. Just to name ISWA, where we are chairing a working group and where we are cooperating with many PROs also from the profit sector. Our members are coming mainly from Europe, as the journey on EPR started in Europe, but in the meantime, we also have members in Canada, from Quebec and Ontario, South America, Chile, Colombia, with the interesting adventure to integrate the informal sector. So we are all waiting to get best practices there, to learn how this could be done, what is working, what is not working. And since lately we have members from Australia and New Zealand, not yet PROs, but industry associations which are on the way to found and to build a PRO, and they wanted to join EXPRA already now to benefit from our expertise. So we are a classical association, so we have a board. 10 of my members are in my board, still mainly from Europe. Since 1 year we have a board member from Canada as well, to represent more the international dimension and to get other experiences from other parts of the world, which is then discussed in our core entity, our General Assembly, with all our members. As you can see, all friendly people, and it's really a pleasure to work with all of them, although it is causing from time to time a headache as well. As I said in the beginning, we are my members are owned by the obliged industry, so we decided from the very beginning to try to work very closely with obligated industry. So we have a special committee where we work with the main companies. You will know them all, probably owners of other PROs as well, supporters of Ellen MacArthur, many of them, and so the ones who can bring change in many countries. So we work quite closely with them and influence each other, I would say, in a positive way. EXPRA itself, of course, we have to have a mission and we have to have a vision and so on. So we are trying to help our members, but also the value chain to enable sustainable packaging, sustainable meaning circular, but also carbon optimized, and to avoid that there is a conflict between these two goals. And we think we can achieve this via optimum EPR. To help our members, we have an internal knowledge base for our members where we try to store all the information that we are gathering from the members, what we are dancing and so on. So they can find everything in our membership base, a kind of little Wikipedia for EPR, I would say. The work itself, the information exchange, is happening in our technical information networks with regard to the various topics involving the various departments of our members. Outcome of the work, and we are quite happy that we finished this paper during this year, is somehow an extract of the work of our members during the last 30 years. And not just to say this has to be done by each PRO, but to identify situations. I think we have identified 25 situations that can happen within a PRO, and then to describe what is the best practice to do in this situation. And then you find in the annex even practical examples to make it more easy to understand, and to understand whether could this be transferred to my situation. Even more important from my point of view, personal meetings, and especially personal meetings of people who are in a similar situation. Therefore, we have some clusters, our Balkan cluster, with very special problems that you are luckily not all finding in our Nordic member clusters. Scandinavia, every country there has a deposit system. We just discussed it, but I can tell you this does not make the situation much easier. And if you see the performance of Finland, for example, there's still a lot of room for improvement. So it helps for a certain part, but it does not help to fix your EPR system if you're not happy with your EPR system. So as always, the world is quite complex here. Moving on, we might think about establishing further clusters for the US, North America, and so on. So to work especially with those members and their environments. But we are a team of 3, so EXPRA is a very small entity. So we can only have an impact if we cooperate. And you can see in this picture, we really believe in cooperation. And there we can feed in always to the bigger picture. And then I think we can do a lot and impact a lot. And also, just to name the other waste stream association on EPR, like the WE Forum, Eucolite, Eurobat, very strong connections, mainly, I would say, because of online sales, because this is a challenge that is affecting all of us, whatever the waste stream is. And again, there are no easy solutions. If you see the situation in Germany, the central agency has now, I think, 700,000 registrations from Asia, from mainly 700,000 small companies. Who will be able to deal with this? So one of the questions we discuss in common, and hopefully we'll find or can make a proposal for a good solution in the future. EPR, we heard it already as well. It is a concept and not a business model. So it is implemented in each country in a different way. Even the US, with their 5 states on EPR, they decided to have 5 different models, and the 5 different models are different from what has been invented up to now. But you can extract and understand the different solutions and try to analyze them, and that's part of our work, what we are doing. Because the reality, even in Europe, is still, I think, a little bit embarrassing. After 30 years or more of waste legislation, of targets, we have lost a lot of countries. And I hope there will be more interest now from Brussels, from the new Commission, for the countries we have lost. Because I'm My understanding is always that the European Union has the goal to have the same living environment for all people. So legislation is done for all, and not only for Belgium, Netherlands, and Germany. So I think we have to try to move it up from all the countries, and there you get a lot of learnings for the rest of the world, because the countries are in such different situations. That's what we do. That's what we try to make conclusions out of it. That's what we try to share with politicians, with authorities, with every interested stakeholder, so that together we can improve our governance and our systems. Because in the end, the job is to keep this wheel going, to start the wheel, circular economy, keep as much material inside the loop. And this is also for EPR, I would say, a different thinking. It's much more than just throwing money into the pot or just collecting some data. It is really to work with the stakeholders, to influence them in a positive way, so that we can improve our circular economy. That's what we are promoting. Again, we are trying to distillate what are best practices, what is working, and so on, and to share it with others. Also, a little bit operational thing we are trying to do, and to understand what are the other positive effects of EPR, of our work, separate collection and recycling. And we can say that we are saving a lot of CO2 by our activities, and that there's still a lot of room for improvement, again, following best practices. So that's what we do with our team of 3. And of course, we would be happy to welcome new members and to increase the cooperation with everyone who is willing to contribute, like we, to an improved waste management system, to improved packaging or other materials. And hopefully other waste streams will learn from our experiences. Just to name textiles now, which seems to become the new packaging. 30 years ago, the situation seems to be quite similar. So please don't do the same mistakes that we did. Do your own mistakes, and then we can learn from you as well. So that was my short run through EXPRA, and of course open for all questions.
Thank you so much, Joachim. That was great. And yeah, thank you also for ending on this note to invite also other PROs to become a member. And yeah, it's great to see that there is already such a big support network out there. I heard in-person meetings, but also the knowledge base for members with yeah, legal matters, information, etc. So yeah, I think this is super helpful. So thanks for sharing that. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 questions from the audience to Joachim. Is there any question? Direct interest to become a member of EXPRA?
Probably too much information in a short time. Huh?
Could be. We will definitely share the presentations afterwards, so everyone has time to go through it again and digest. There are no direct questions. We could move on to the discussion, and I'm really, really interested to hear from the audience. I saw that there are some PROs in the call, but also other actors. So yeah, I would be super interested if there are still like some needs that you still have. You heard there's the offer from the coalition, from EXPRA, I'm sure also from other stakeholders. Maybe you could share a little bit of what you are interested in, maybe in the next year, and maybe Felicia, you could share the other slide again with the questions, just to start a bit of discussion. Yeah, because as you know, the Gap for EPR is of course there to support governments, but we are also thinking if there's the need and the interest to support maybe future PROs, then we are also open for that. But for tapping into these needs, we of course need to know, yeah, what is your interest? Is there information lacking on a specific topic? Do you need more networks? Maybe you're also interested to have a peer on your side to go through the process of establishing a new PRO, etc. I think, yeah, these kind of questions are relevant for us to know. And I see Anna Larsson, you have your hand up. Please come in. Anna, we can't hear you. In case you're speaking.
Yeah, I had some technical challenges. Good morning, everyone. I have a question to all of you, and this is related specifically to Europe, but of course it will be a very good guidelines for other regions of the world.
There's some delay, or is it me? Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, I think it was my internet connection. Sorry, I can hear you now. Yeah,
so I was talking about the European situation, but I think answer to this question can also be very much valuable for other world regions represented here. So we know that in 2030 in Europe, we might have as much as 260 kilogram of packaging waste per capita and year. And we know also, according to the data of the European Commission, that half of that might be plastics. I say might be because, of course, this is a prediction. We don't know when and where we land with this prediction. But how do you all see the development of the extended producer responsibility, development of the role of the producer responsibility organizations, both in terms of the framework, but also in terms of the organizational responsibility, specifically with regards to plastics? It is a very challenging, very challenging category of waste. In Scandinavia, we have not managed to go beyond even 50%, which is, of course, obligatory as of next year. Sweden, where I live, we barely reach 30%. So how do you see this challenge of plastic packaging? I know we can talk with regards to EPR about textiles, about furniture. I think now one of the EXPRA members even mentioned the EPR for toys. We can leave all of that, focus on the packaging, as packaging. This is it's very challenging.
Thank you for the question, category. Anna. Could you kindly just say your background, the organization you work for, maybe?
Sorry, yes, Anna Larsson Relook platform.
Thank you. I don't know, Joachim, Emmanuelle, who would like to answer you?
I think, of course, every country, even in Scandinavia, has a different situation. And Sweden was dominated for 20 years, I think, for a discussion fight between industry and local authorities who better takes the lead. The government now finally decided, I think, for starting this year, that the municipalities get the collection back, and they are just increasing now household collection to each and every household in Sweden. At the same time, industry has, I think, decided to do an upgrade of their positioning as well. They have built a new sorting center to sort all the plastic waste from Sweden and not to send it to other countries like in the past. I think Sweden is a good example that if the situation is clear, if you have a clear framework, and then a development can start and is started in Sweden. So I think you will in Sweden catch up quite quickly now. And the distribution of responsibilities, municipalities for collection, industry for sorting and recycling. You can find some best practices in the member states that you can argue that might be a good solution in principle. In the other countries, Denmark, what can I say? Denmark is a mess. They still have not started EPR. They are postponing it for 2 or 3 years, and minimum not because of my member. They would have. They were ready 2 years ago already. So kickstart hopefully soon, and improvement. Norway has the problem that there is competition but no enforcement. So this is stopping investments and so on. And Finland, yeah, the image is not always the reality. They are very focused on economics. But still, I think that they are kickstarting now. PPWR is clear. There's no way to escape anymore. So I think there's a lot of hope for Scandinavia because they have the advantage of a stable system, legal framework, and so on. So they have a good basis to start from. And the role of EPR, if you give us a chance, then I think we can change a lot and motivate a lot. If we are just standing at the side and are allowed to sign some bills, then of course our influence is limited. So give us a chance. See Belgium, Italy as best practices from my point of view, and then we can do a lot. But of course, always in cooperation with the rest of the actors.
Great, thank you, Joachim. So I read from the question that still there are questions on the roles of the PROs, also in regards to increasing packaging volumes, actually. I know that France and now also Belgium is trying to set up the reuse infrastructure, putting a lot of effort there. Emmanuelle, maybe you would like to say a few words on that. Maybe also in regards to the second statement in the chat on DRS, that there's sometimes this competition, DRS versus EPR. Here's the example from Romania, as DRS for beverages has been implemented in Romania, so it will be very hard now for the EPR to achieve recycling targets for other types of plastic, as now the PET is in the DRS system. But maybe also on reuse, a few words from your side, if you like.
Yes, with pleasure. So I can add some words on reuse. So we have a legal target of 5% reusable packaging on the French market by 2027. No, 10%, sorry. 5% is for the share of our turnover. Yeah, that's it, Joachim. It's for the, yeah, I see you are following quite carefully. Great. Yeah, so 10% of reusable packaging by 2027 on the French market, and PRO have to dedicate yearly 5% of their turnover to finance reuse project. So this is what we have done at Citeo with a budget of this year of 100 million euro to finance the development of reuse. And we have also developed a reuse program. So since 3 years, to gather each stakeholders, players of the reuse value chain, reflecting on the different issues and challenges and questions raised by reuse. So regarding, first of all, so consumer information, labeling, transport, logistics, washing, and also the question of standards and so on. So to have a collective approach. And as a PRO, we thought we had a role to play on this, but as a coordinator, as a motivator. Yeah, it's not something the CTO decide and the other do. No, it's really a collective way of doing and thinking. So it's very, very important. And so we will launch by May next year the reuse at scale in 4 French regions. So it's in north of France, in Brittany, Normandy, and in Loire, with the objective to have 30 million units of standardized reusable glass packaging on the market and to reach out to 16 million inhabitants. So Citeo will develop its own reusable glass packaging. So we will have 6 references by the end of next year, and you will have also other reusable glass packaging. So for example, from a very known brands and producer. I will not name it, but we will have it in mind. And also the reusable packaging from the so-called network for reuse and bulk in France, so Réseau Vrac and Réemploi. Yes, we will have, so in total, more than there's maybe about 40 references on different type of reusable glass packaging. So we will begin with glass packaging mainly, because so for PET and other packaging, we need more time for research and development. So it's yes, it's an important step for us. And if you are interested in this, so we are organizing 3 times a year, so-called Reuse Day. It's taking place in hybrid format, but unfortunately only in French. The next one will take place on the 11th of March in Paris, and we can also share more information bilaterally if you are interested.
Thanks so much, Emmanuelle. And yeah, it's also showing that PROs can go new ways, although there is so much experience on like the basic services, let's say, but still there's so much room still to improve and to reduce waste. And I think this is a nice example of yeah, the future PRO maybe. Thanks for sharing that. And thank you also, Felicia, for reminding us of the questions we wanted to discuss. We don't have a lot of time left, but maybe again to PROs in the room or future PROs, if you have an interest to have a peer-to-peer exchange or mentor by your side, or any need that you see is still not covered with all the great services provided by EXPRA and the coalition, maybe you could raise your hand now and explain a little bit what is needed. See if there's someone. Can of
or
course
reach
also
out to us later.
or reach out.
That's
yeah,
also possible.
maybe Felicia, this is now the moment to also share the survey. Yeah, if you can't raise your hand now, or you still need to think about it, but you would be interested to have be part of a network to exchange, for example, PRO to PRO basis, then yeah, please fill out the survey. It's anonymous unless you want to be in contact, and you're invited to leave your details there, your email address. But also if you're interested to share your knowledge, maybe you work in a PRO that has been operating for a while, then of course you're also welcome to be part of the survey and fill in your details. I see there are no open questions. Yeah, please reach out to us if you have further questions. Then I think we're coming to an end for this call, this webinar series. Thank you again to Emmanuelle, Joachim, but also Dorothee for co-organizing this session with me, and also Felicia for your support throughout all the 7 sessions. It was a pleasure. And yeah, thanks to all of you participants for participating, for asking your questions. And I hope this webinar series was really useful to you.